Hello and welcome. You're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live conversation web television where all of you can participate, interact and create content on issues that we are talking about. Well, the new Women and Child Welfare Minister Maneka Gandhi has said that juveniles who commit rapes should be tried as adult offenders. The Supreme Court has also asked for a revisit of the Juvenile Justice Act. Child rights activists, however, say that this is an infringement, this is a violation of child rights to, try children who are 16 years old. How does one balance this whole Juvenile Act? That is the conversation we are going to have today. All of you are requested to please share your thoughts with us through your audio and video posts. You can tweet us at #IndiaPostLive or @IndiaPostLive. I'm waiting for your tweets as the conversation happens. We have lots of guests online as well as in my studio. First, a quick look at this audio visual.
Maneka Gandhi is a woman on a mission. The Women and Child Welfare Minister wants juvenile rapists to be tried as adults for harsher punishment. According to the police, 50% of all sexual crimes were committed by 16-year-olds. And Maneka is pushing to amend the law to keep the 16-year-olds accused out of the purview of the Juvenile Justice Act. Her predecessor in the UPA regime, Krishna Tira too, had mooted a similar proposal. However, the move was opposed by various NGOs and the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, which stated that such a proposal was against child rights. So while this is not a new attempt, will the minister have her way this time around, or will she be open to discussion and debate?
All right, so will the minister have her way around? Will there be scope for discussion and debate? And a discussion and a debate is what we're about to have on IndiaPostLive.com on whether the Juvenile Justice Act should at all be amended or not. Joining me in the studio is Sanjay Hegde. He is an advocate with the Supreme Court. Thank you so much, sir, for joining the conversation. I also have Sanjay Singh. Sanjay Singh is a former journalist and now he is the founder of an NGO that works on child sex abuse called Chuppi Toro. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for joining the conversation. I also have online guests with me. I have Bharti Ali. She's the director of Haq Center for Child Rights. She joins us through Google Hangout. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining the conversation. I hope you can hear me. All right. We will try and get our online guests. We are having some audio trouble, it seems. Let me first ask you, Mr. Hegde, the Juvenile Justice Act, this was actually passed in the year 2000 in keeping with the fact that India is a signatory of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, CRC, 1989. Do you think it needs a revisit, as the Supreme Court has said?
You see, we are confusing two issues.
Okay.
What you really need is effective law and order.
Right.
What you are giving instead is harsh laws. The amendments to the rape law right now are scary. I'll just paint a scenario to you.
Please.
Two teenagers in a room, they get frisky. It is consensual. And at that point of time, somebody does something which Mr. Tejpal is accused of. You will have, if that act is discovered, you will have a juvenile facing a life sentence for rape. A 16-year-old boy on that one incident is likely to have his entire life at stake. Are you comfortable with that? I am not. The point is that we had a very bad incident.
Yes.
But we are a nation of 1.2 billion people. There are some bad, harsh cases. Harsh cases make bad law. That's what we lawyers know. And we have in India a tendency to make almost everything into a criminal matter, primarily because civil courts do not seem to be working. Okay. So the threat that we will put you in jail and will trouble your entire family. I've seen it not only in these cases, but in other cases, in the 498A, in check bouncing, so much so. I don't think we should tighten this law.
Let it
Let it remain where it is, because it's 18. I think that is a reasonable age. Because you bring it down to 16, then there is some 15-year-old who does something similar. How far down the corridor are you going to go?
Right. Let me bring in Sanjay's views on this. Sanjay, the Nirbhaya case, as Mr. Hegde just mentioned, that was a horrific crime in which this entire outrage that happened, the outburst that happened. Obviously, the nature of the crime, it was not just rape. It was what happened after the rape. The fact that a girl's intestines were pulled out, and all of that. That has actually caused this entire debate, to occur. But what are your views on the fact that should it be brought down to 16 at all?
No, age that Mr. Hegde was talking about, how, like if you're talking about criminal intent, in the beginning I think it was 9 years. Then because they were able to like decide whether they can plot and do things whatever they want to. But after CRC, 18 was the age. And now, if you're thinking in terms of lowering down the age, this is not going to help, What we are supposed to do now is, unless until we provide the best possible facility to children, we are breeding criminals, What is going to happen, Those who are out of school, Those who are like, growing up in a bad
infested areas.
crime infested area, and they are not, there is no value system as such that what we are talking about, unless until we are giving them that kind of facility, and then how do you expect them to behave in a rational way? It's not that we are thinking in terms of like what we are talking about, the innocence, that principle of innocence, that what we are talking about. World over they say that 18 years they cannot plot, they cannot, but there are rare cases that you're talking about, Nirbhaya cases, where adults were there and he was one of them, basically. Yes. So he was guided by the adults also, and there are...
He was spurred by them,
yeah,
you're saying.
And
okay.
there are a lot of cases where they are misused, Children are misused. In a sense, they are trained to do something so that they can get away, because they can use the system, of JJ system, to get away as far as 3 years, just reformatory remand home or something like that. That can be given to them and they will be out. But ultimately, what we are talking about, that's what I want to discuss, is the vaccination versus cure. If we need vaccination. We need the vaccination in a sense. We need to give them the conducive environment so that they grow in a best possible environment. And if you want to cure them, this is not going to help. In a sense, even if they're 14, 15, 16, 17 or 18 you're talking about, cure is not going to help, reformatory is not going to help.
But what about deterrent? Sanjay, what about deterrent? If a child, for example, if I'm a criminal and if I know that I commit a crime and I can get away with it, what Mrs. Gandhi also talked about, with what Ms. Tirath had also talked about earlier, that I know that I commit this crime and I can get away with it after 3 years, I can walk out free after 3 years.
Have you any experience with teenagers? You tell them that something is dangerous, they go ahead and do it.
Yes.
You tell
That's
them
the
you tell them that bikes are dangerous. You can't keep them off bikes. So this deterrence theory does not work with the very young.
Okay.
And to say that you will perpetually be in jail. You just look at the population of the US. They have something called the 3 strikes and you're out rule. And in the crime-ridden areas, in the black areas, a young man starts off peddling drugs, then gets into shooting, and a third, some ordinary crime, and he's locked away for the rest of his life.
Yes.
Do we want a nation of teenage children who will be locked up for the majority of their lives? I don't think that's the right way to go.
All right, let me bring in Bharti Ali on this. She's the director of HUC, Center for Child Rights. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining the conversation. If you can hear me, your comments, we've just had our opening comments from our studio guests, and they are talking of the vaccination, which is more important and necessary than the cure. What are your views, ma'am, on what Mrs. Gandhi has talked about?
Well, I agree with both your guests who are sitting there. Totally agree with them. This is a very highly impressionable age. This is not an age where you think about consequences. Even when you know the consequences, you don't wish to think about the consequences.
Right.
But at the same time, I must say that nobody, even in the child rights movement in this country, nobody is saying that sexual crime by juveniles is justified. We are all saying that any form of crime is not justified, cannot be. We have to work towards crime prevention as well as juvenile justice, and the two are possible. They can be married. Crime prevention is possible with a restorative approach when it comes to children who are under 18 years of age. And there is ample proof across the world now. There are enough studies, enough research, and there is a US department which is now telling us that when they were subjecting juveniles to the adult system
Yes.
and subjecting them to severe punishments, they did not get the results that they thought they would.
Okay.
Actually, they didn't sign the CRC because they are not part of signatory of CRC.
US isn't?
No, he's not. US is not.
Okay.
And that's why the Boston bomber, who's a juvenile, is being tried as an adult.
Yeah, in fact, several US states do that, right? I mean, so-called juveniles below the age of 18. Or below the age
then
of
comes
16.
down to the kind of society you are.
The case automatically is referred to an adult court depending on the nature of the crime.
The prosecutors have discretion. The prosecutors have discretion whether to try you as a juvenile or as an adult. But at the end of it, it comes down to the kind of society and country you are. Are you comfortable hanging teenagers? Because that would be a logical consequence one day.
No, ultimately what we are talking about huge, we are the largest number of children in the world,
Yes.
below 18.
Yes.
So what we are trying
We are
to
a
do,
young nation.
young nation, that's what we,
And we can't criminalize all of them.
no, that's what we need we need to think differently to handle them. Otherwise we are breeding criminals, ultimately it will be very, very difficult for nation to grow, that's what we are talking about. In a sense, if like,
So what does one do with a child who is growing up in a crime-infested area, who's watching crime happen around him like it's a daily thing, and till the time he stops reacting to it, or he's not sensitized to crime per se. So then how do you stop? Where is the deterrent?
No.
I'm asking you as a CSA activist.
No, that's what I'm talking about, Look, I'll give you an example. There's a boy, he ran away from Kolkata. He doesn't know, he was very young, he came to Delhi and he started living on a platform. Now, he's almost 13, 14. Now, what he's doing, he's collecting spices, there is a spices market there. He gets up early in the morning, 4 a.m. He'll go and sweep the floors and collect whatever he gets, and they will sell it and buy thinner, that they use it. Yeah, so now he's using that. He's able to earn money through this. Now later, and there is an intervention by an NGO, but off and on he will come and go, Although they're trying their level best, and he's a very nice boy. Whenever you interact with him, he seems to be absolutely all right. When it comes down to drug abuse, he cannot stop himself. So later, now it's the time. If you catch them young, you will be able to reform them. If not, they will become hardened criminals. It will be very, very difficult for them to
reform is the way out, you're saying. All right, let me bring in Rohit Girdhar. Rohit joins us from Hathras in Uttar Pradesh. He is the UP head of the Save Indian Family Foundation. Rohit, thank you so much for talking to India Post Live. Rohit, very quickly, your comments on, do you think, as my guests have pointed out, as Bharti Ali also pointed out, are we criminalizing our children by bringing them under the purview of the adult courts for crimes they commit?
Absolutely. First of all, I thank you, the gentlemen out there in the studio, for their comments. And as far as I think, bringing juveniles into treating juveniles as an adult in any case, be it a rape case or any case, is inhuman. We basically, when we deal with children, we have a women and child development welfare ministry. That ministry is only working for women. There is juveniles have no rights in India. There are NGOs. There definitely are NGOs who are working for children's welfare.
Right.
But then that is not enough. When we talk about government, when we talk about ministries, we need to have ministries who specifically look into children's issues. And see, under the threat of gender biased laws that we have in the country, and the way fathers are being treated, they are getting alienated from those kids. We have several studies that tell that fatherless children tend to be move out to be criminals, say drug addicts,
Yeah.
rapists,
Yeah.
and they are have numerous after effects that a child gets if he is alienated from his father. So yes, we need to work upon laws, and treating juveniles as adults is absolutely condemnable job, and it should not happen.
Okay.
I take up from that.
Yeah.
Definitely, we need a separate ministry for children, because they are.
We just talked about having the largest number of children.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we need specific, like that. They can handle it better, Why? I don't know. I fail to understand why can't they have a separate ministry for it, children. I
So
don't know
are you
why.
fighting for it as a part of, both of you are from the social, the service in,
Definitely, because we
social
are
development sector.
working on a different forum altogether. But ultimately, as it is, we haven't put a petition as such. But
Yeah.
I think it's high time that we should be doing it.
All right,
That's
all
the
right.
right time. We should, I think, if they are willing to come forward and segregate the ministry, that's the best. Actually, there are a lot of, it has happened in the past also. There were questions about it. But I don't think so. We were able to put across in the best possible way.
Let me get in a voice now from Pakistan. Let me bring in Rab Nawaz, who joins us from Lahore. Rab Nawaz is the editor of Pakistan's first online bilingual magazine called Laltain.com. Rab Nawaz, welcome to the conversation. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much.
Hi, Rab Nawaz. Welcome, welcome back to India Post Live. Rab Nawaz, just a couple of days back, you wrote an article on rapes in Pakistan, and you have talked of how rape is the least reported crime in your country. Here, the issue is slightly different. We are talking of whether juveniles who commit rapes should be treated as adult offenders. Give us your views, with a Pakistan perspective.
Well, I think rape is, as I wrote in that article as well, it is quite rampant, maybe as rampant as in India, maybe more than that, but it's really hard to figure out how much exactly, because there is, it's very hard to find accurate statistics because it's underreported.
Right.
So because of that, well, though it is a big crime, but still in Pakistan, juveniles do have, by law, they do have a kind of, they are not treated as adults. But if such a law is being thought of, I think that will not be wise. After all, when juveniles commit crime, it's quite proven and established all over the world. They are more influenced by their circumstances. So it's more like punishing them twice. So, there could be many reasons for committing a crime, but mostly in countries like us, it is a kind of environment, it's what they learn from the society. So I don't think it's a good advice from practical standpoint and also from moral standpoint to punish juveniles because it won't, help solve the problem.
Very nicely put, Rab Nawaz. And now let me, for all of us, get some voices of the people on what they think about the proposal that has been mooted by the Minister for Women and Child Welfare. Let's take a look at some of the things that people have had to say.
Like a child who was 18-year-old is counted in this juvenile act and not being punished and being left. So it is not true. One should take a step for it.
एज अगर कम करने की बात आती है तो सिर्फ उन्हें जेल में डाल देने से या कहीं और रख देने से उनके क्राइम्स तो कम होने नहीं वाले. सोसाइटी इन ओवरऑल उन्हें आप उन्हीं से दूर रख देंगे जो उनके अपने हैं और वो लोग उन्हें चेंज करेंगे. उन्हीं से अगर आप उन्हें दूर कर देंगे then it's really impossible कि वो लोग चेंज हो सकते.
18 साल का हो चाहे 16 साल का हो, जो भी उसने किया है वो क्राइम तो उसका बड़ा, ये रेप करके आया एक्चुअली वो. सो इट शुड एक्चुअली डिपेंड अपॉन द सिवियरिटी ऑफ द क्राइम अकॉर्डिंग टू मी, देन पीपल शुड बी पनिश्ड.
आजकल तो 16 साल से कम उम्र के भी लड़के तैयार हो जाते हैं इसी काम करने के लिए, और उनको आगे करके वो पीछे जो करते हैं दूसरे काम करते हैं बड़े बड़े. इंडिया में मेरे ख्याल सेक्स लीगल कर देना चाहिए, कम्प्लीटली लीगल. कोई सोचना ही नहीं चाहिए सेक्स के लिए क्या टेंशन है, सब करते हैं यार. इट्स लाइक 7 वर्ष का बच्चा को ले लो. Like we must not try to argue things. We must try to see it not as a means of ill effect of society, but we must take it positively. किसी को मने तो करो, खुलेआम करो, क्या टेंशन है.
उनके अंदर एक डर बना रहे कि हाँ ये चीज़ अगर मैं करूँगा इस टाइम पे तो मेरे आगे का पूरा करियर बर्बाद कर सकते हैं. तो ये डर बनाने के लिए उन्हें आई थिंक एज कम कर देना चाहिए.
गुना होता है, चाहे 18 साल का करे चाहे 16 साल का, वो एक क्राइम होता है. ठीक है, वो नहीं है कि वो 18 साल का है तो उसको सजा मिलेगा, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. जब उसको सब कुछ आता है, वो 16 साल का है, उसको सब कुछ माइंड में है, तो इसमें कैसे बोल सकते हैं कि वो नाबालिग है.
I think it is not about the law, but it is about the intention of the person. If the intention of the person is not correct, I think they should get the sufficient punishment. I mean, the correcting somebody's mind is different aspect, but I think just sending in for without any punishment would not make the correct impact.
Well, I think that at the age of 16 also, our children is enough mature to do a crime, and I'm in favor in all this.
जो उम्र 16 साल की गई है उसको 14 भी कर दिया जाए तो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा, क्योंकि जो 14 साल का भी अगर हो और उस उम्र में इस तरह की हरकत करना जानता हो तो उसको उस तरह की ही कड़ी सज़ा मिलनी चाहिए, और ये ज़रूरी है.
All right, lots of different voices out there, but many voices, Sanjay and Mr. Hegde, many voices said that it is a heinous crime and they should be punished. But like you said, you know, the image of teenagers getting hanged, what you put it, that is a not so nice image in the head, definitely.
Absolutely. Take another example.
Yeah.
Let's take an adult who commits rape, but who still can't be punished because he's insane. That is also possible in law. You punish in law based on the person's mental capacity, and the presumption in law is that somebody who's below 18 cannot either get into legal obligations, that is, he can't sign a contract, he cannot vote. Equally, the law will also protect him when he is in trouble. If he goes beyond the boundaries of the law, that will make a certain allowance for that. That is how, as a society, we have evolved. Now, to step back and say, okay, we had one bad incident, there are bad adults who are taking advantage of these children, and therefore, instead of helping out children, if we are going to say we are going to hang them all, we are going to put them away, lock them away and throw away the keys, then what you are basically doing is not only punishing those children, but you end up punishing whole families, mothers,
Right.
sisters, so many things.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate here, because I think all my guests online and studio are not in favor of what Mr.
Yeah, quite frankly,
yeah.
the minister seems to be much kinder to animals than teenagers.
All right. Yeah, Rohit has a point to make. Rohit, please go ahead.
Once again, see, I agree with the gentleman out there in the studio. The minister is, yes, indeed, very soft to animals than human beings. See, what happened is recently, after the Nirbhaya case, the rape law was amended. Now, the rape law has been amended in such a way wherein it has made the entire men's race in India very vulnerable. So, as of now, adults are facing such a threat, and now when you talk about juveniles to be treated as adults, you are also asking the government to treat juveniles as the same, and they also will start facing the heat, because as of today there is not even a single law wherein a man can use And
Okay.
so I would say, make laws gender neutral, make laws which are in favor of humanity rather than making them one-sided, and think before you implement laws. There has to be a logic behind every law.
All right.
You cannot just take up.
Okay, let me Rohit, let me just ask Sanjay one question. The National Crime Records Bureau, they have said that the number of rapes committed by juveniles has doubled over the past decade. In 2001, there were 399, jumped to 858 in 2010. In 2002, there were 485, it jumped to 1149 in 2011. So if you compare the rapes of 2010 and 11, it's over 300. It's an increase of 300.
Okay.
Rapes by juveniles increased 300 from 2010 to 11. I'm playing devil's advocate here because all of you are...
If you go by National
Yeah.
Crime Records
Yeah.
Bureau,
Yeah.
basically it's part of reporting.
Yeah.
It's not a reflection of whatever is happening, In reality, it's much more than what we are talking about. you
Right.
know. In both the cases, it's not adult and other rapes we are talking about. If you go back, I don't know, I'm working on child sexual abuse for quite some time. So 53% of children in India is sexually abused.
By
So
people they know and trust.
It's like every second child we are talking about. So what kind of nation we are talking about? So if you are thinking in terms of we cannot protect our child as such, okay, we are deviating a bit, but what I'm talking about, that those who are like, suppose they've been raped or something has happened with them. In retrospect, in a sense, they try to take revenge also, You never know what is going to happen to them. So there will be
those kind of repercussions. Even in a country like Saudi Arabia, where it's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, even their crime occurs. Even with such stringent laws, crime occurs.
It's what we are trying to do here. Children in conflict with law. What kind of what do you call facilities we are giving? Not facility, we can say. What kind of protection we are giving it to them? Like if you go and observe like special homes or children's home, for that matter, children's homes is for protection of child, basically. They are in bad shape,
So they come out even hardened.
So what is happening with them? First of all, we need to think about whatever rehabilitation we are talking about. We can make it world standard, If you go to other countries, you will find the reformatory, we cannot call it reformatory per se, but you can say that for protection of child or for their benefits, so that they're given vocational training or other kind of training so that they come to mainstream. But here, if you just visit, you will start thinking that is hell on earth, basically.
All right. So the point, Mr. Hegde, if you have any final comments, we'll have to wrap up the conversation. We'll continue on the portal, of course, with the comments from people who've watched. But your final comments, sir.
Final comments are where we started off. What you need is effective law and order, policing, reporting measures, so that rapes are controlled. Rapes will occur, but what you need to do is to go after them and see to them their logical conclusion. Just because in one rape or two there were juveniles involved, it is no case for criminalizing a lot of children. You will end up causing much more misery.
Okay, end up causing much more misery, and that is what even you are saying, that we need to protect our children, we need to reform our children, give them a conducive environment for them to grow and reform into
it's like
good citizens.
Vaccination versus cure. That's what I
Vaccination versus
so
cure.
we need
All
to
right.
work on it.
I would like to thank my online guests, Bharti Ali, Rab Nawaz and Rohit, for joining us with their viewpoints. And of course, my studio guests, Mr. Sanjay Hegde, Advocate of the Supreme Court, Sanjay Singh, founder of Chuppi Todo. Thank you so much for your comments. The conversation, of course, continues on the portal with your posts, your audio comments, your video comments, and your tweets at #IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. So basically, the whole idea that came out of this conversation was that basically we are jumping the gun perhaps after the Nirbhaya case. Children need to be reformed. They need to be protected. We do not want teenagers to be hanged. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.